just so you're
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Conscious Educator Playground podcast. We are recording live, and today is a super special day because one of my favorite humans on the planet, I have several of them, but Miss Amelia is one of my favorite humans, my niece, as well as our brand ambassador for Educator Dynamics. She has been interning with us for the last couple of years. Is it a couple of years? Is it year? Is it, I don't know.
year and a half.
Okay, so I'm close. We all know that Sandy does not do dates and times well, so it's fine.
It was officially a year and a half yesterday.
Oh, I love that you track these things for us. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
And as always, Ms. Shiva Rashada, thank you for being here. We are going to dive in. As always, we do our quick 25-minute podcast where we go deep, fast, and have a really meaningful conversation. And today is all about student voices. And what I value most about Amelia's brain and her brilliance is the way that she uses her voice and the journey that she's been on as a student and as a lifelong learner throughout life, and all of the different experiences she's had with different learning environments, different professors. And so I think this is going to be a really important, juicy conversation, not only for all of us as humans, but us as educators to really take a moment to be present for this conversation. Because one of the most valuable things that we can do, and this is for any human, but definitely our children and our students, is to really see them, really truly hear them, and value the unique, amazing humans that they are. And so we're going to dive into this conversation because so much of what's happening in the world is rush, rush, rush. And it's in the micro moments that we really find this joy of connecting with one another as humans. So let's start with Amelia. I would love for you to share where you are a student now and kind of what your educational journey has been, like just a quick, like 30-second little snippet, and then we'll go into deep questions.
God, you put me on a timer.
I did.
So I am a junior/senior at the University of Montevallo.
You're a senior. You can qualify that.
Senior. I have enough credits to be qualified as a senior, but it's my third year of college. I'm graduating in May. And I graduated high school in 2020, the coveted pandemic graduation that did not exist for me. But yeah, it's kind of been a bumpy ride with COVID, and it's even before COVID, it was a bumpy ride. But we're here, we're about to graduate and call it a day and get that lovely, expensive piece of paper and move on.
Yeah, so. Very expensive piece of paper, but yeah. it's all good.
It's all good.
You're making it happen. You're making it happen. I love it. Who has been your, like, when you think about the educators that you've been able to connect with, who's been someone that really stands out to you as an amazing educator, and why?
I think there's a couple, honestly, and through all of the things, I think that even with my college experience, the reason I decided to stay at my university was my professors and was my program. And, I've had a couple great mass comms professors that have truly just gone out of their way to help me. And because I go to a smaller university, it blends to the fact of the stereotypical, you're not just a number in a classroom. It's true. We know this, it's not just what people say. But I had a public speaking professor last fall, Dr. Harding. She's my advisor now. But she's amazing. And it was she already, after one class, she knew who I was, and she knew the essence of me. And so when my previous advisor left and she took over, even though she's a comms professor, I'm a mass comm major, it was she already knew what I was capable of, and I would ask her questions, and she was able to truly tell me and give her good advice based on me. And I think it's the people who kind of open their brains and their hearts a little bit to kind of get to know who you are and not just base you off of scores and base you off of the stereotypical shallow stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the best way to say it, is just the professors who went a little deeper, I appreciated.
Absolutely. So tell us about semester at sea a little bit, and that journey of education, and what that was like in terms of, I mean, we could be here for days really diving into all of those experiences and that invaluable experience for you. But I'd love to learn, like, as a student and connecting with your educators and the types of learning, the variety of types of learning that really shifted who you are. We were talking about this the other day, in like who you showed up as on day one of the ship versus who you walked off the ship as, and what experiences helped shift that. So if you can talk about the shift and then talk about what experiences shifted that.
So, well, for people who don't know, Semester at Sea is a study abroad program for college-aged and gap year students. Lifelong learners can go, by the way. Have fun.
I wish I would.
Yeah.
But we should go next time.
Yeah.
I think we should have podcasts from Semester at Sea.
Exactly. Oh, that would be amazing.
You're like, guess where we are now. Yeah, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Anyway, so college, so it's like 500 college students live on a ship. They take classes, they travel around the world. It's fantastic. I did this last spring from January to April. And so I took 12 credits worth of classes, because usually I would take more at my home campus, but you're also trying to have an experience along other things. And it was amazing, life-changing, absolutely. I recommend to anyone who says, should I do this? Yes, you should definitely do this. It does break the bank a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. But anyhow, as far as education goes on the ship, it was my first kind of like big lecture experience, because I never really had that. I never had big classes. Like, I think my business class has been like 20, 30 people. Like, it's like, because I go to a small university, I'm just not used to it. So everyone on the ship had to take a class called Global Studies, and there were 2 time slots. And so our voyage was a little smaller. So we only had about like 450 kids. But usually there's like 600 kids. Anyhow, you divide 450 times 2, that's like 200 plus kids in each session. So it's like we're compiled into the big union on the ship, and it's taught by 3 different professors. And it was like my first time where it was like, you don't feel like you knew the professor. Like, you did, but you didn't, because ship life is very different, and you get to know your professors very well. But that was definitely a first for me, where it was like this sea of kids just learning. But I think, and then I took 3 other classes. 2 of them were taught by the same professor. They were journalism classes. And then the other one was a world music class. So I definitely got to know my journalism professor a little more, because I had 2 classes with him. And because we kind of wrote like personal travel stories, it was like we kind of got to that deeper level of like, what our writing is, the experiences that we had, and all that other good stuff. So it was definitely interesting because of the relationships that you make, because you pass them on the deck, and you say hi to them in the restaurants, and you run into them in random countries. It's a great thing. But
yeah. So what was it like, the different learning experiences? Because you had field programs, and you had a lot of different types of learning versus lecture hall.
Yeah, so each course, minus global studies, each course has a field class, which means that the professor works with the field office, and then they pick one day out of one port out of the whole itinerary, and we go and we do something, and we learn something that is supposed to be related to the class. But the best one, like for my writing class, we went to a cooking class in Denmark. Don't ask me why. Because totally related, right? Anyway, so world music is the other class that I took, and we had our field class in Portugal. we took a walking tour of Lisbon, just to see the sights. And then we went and we learned about fado music. We went to the Fado Museum. We went into this nice little restaurant, served the most amazing food, and listened to this fado concert. And it was one of the most amazing surreal experiences. And I think it was, because I think that's what's amazing about Semester at Sea, is that you take students not only out of a classroom, you put them on a ship, but then you put them in country to learn about things firsthand. And because it's one thing to, be in a history class, be in a Spanish class, be in XYZ, and look in a textbook, see a picture and go, yeah, that looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to see a picture in the textbook, go out the next day and look at it, see it, experience it, walk through it. And so I think that's why it's the immersive learning that occurs on Semester at Sea is so big and life-changing and is so impactful to people, because it's not boring, one. Two, it's not, two-dimensional. It's not this, I'm going to talk to you about it and you're going to absorb the information. It's no, I'm going to talk to you about it. We're going to talk about it together, and then we're going to go experience it together. And, we're going to kind of shift your idea and your frame of mind of how you should pick up information, because that's just how we've been taught this whole time, that you read a textbook, you take a test, and you move on. Mm-hmm. I can't remember jack squat from high school and my history tests and whatever, but it's the things that you truly get to live through and you truly get to experience that make the biggest impression. And I think that's why, on top of the whole I get to travel the world and live on the ship bit, is the learning of what you're actually experiencing. And so I really wanted to take oceanography on the ship. You're in the middle of the ocean, learn about the ocean, but it just didn't work in my schedule. So it really is just taking it to another level about what we get to learn and experience, on top of the fact that the community is, yes, it's US based, but there's also, international professors, international peers, and the crew is all international pretty much. And it's, you not only learn in your classes in country of what you're talking about, you learn from each other, and what experiences you had and what experiences you grew up with, and how that differs from other people, how you come together on this one ship even though you have come from such different backgrounds, and like what your college experiences are like. And so it's one big melting pot that comes together, and it's like this intense 4 months, but absolutely the best thing of life.
Fantastic. I love that. I love the way that you're describing the learning environment and the impact of a varied learning environment. And Shiba, I know you do, like, we've talked about this, and the way that you create experiences for your students in the classroom, even without, putting them on a ship in the middle of the ocean. And
that would be better, though.
Right?
I recommend it. I really do.
Can I take all my babies on the ship? Like, it'd be totally great. She was in.
Yes.
But she was as an educator, I mean, this. I mean, this is conversations we have a lot. When you truly connect with your students and you see and the points that Amelia is making, how are you recreating that within the traditional classroom environment to where your students are walking away with similar things that Amelia is discussing?
I'm going to be honest. I think it was really important that Amelia stated that, you open the textbook, you take the test, that is, and then you really don't remember much after that. So I can't really say that I'm recreating the beautiful experiences that Amelia's, having in college, and especially at Semester at Sea. I think for me, the experience that I create is really through those personal relationships, which you did talk about, Amelia, with your professors at your university, getting to know them, they know you. So I think for me to create learning moments that really stick with students is just doing the things that, it's good practice, but it's not always something that is consistent in the field. So that makes sure that I stand by the door. I greet each student every single day, making sure that I learn everyone's name in the first week. Really making sure that I reach out before, if I have to contact families or parents, I talk to the student first. So I let those students know that I'm invested in them, in their future, and am really able to just create human relationships that a lot of times they're just not there in high school. In college, yeah, you're a number. I felt like that in high school. Where it's like, all right, everybody out, in and out. Okay, yeah, get your paper in. So I think that that's how I create those experiences, Sandy, is really getting to know those kids and just letting them know that it's not just about the English curriculum. If you have to talk to me about life or about other things, I'm here for that too. So that's how I do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the part where when we slow down and we say, I see you, and maybe you don't even say it,
right?
But there's that essence energy in that connection of, I truly see you. I rewatched the first Avatar because, second one's coming out and I had to be ready. Just there's this moment in the movie Avatar where it's like, I see you. And when, totally going to forget the characters' names because anyways, I'm not going to go down things that Sandy forgets. It's fine. Is that one of the main characters is being told, like, no, it's not just, yeah, I see you. Like, yeah, you're right there. Like, duh, I see you. It's no, I see you.
Sure.
And really, truly looking someone in the eyes and saying, I see you. And then being able to say, I hear you.
Right.
And so often in communication, we're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Or I understand. And when that's not what it feels like on the receiving end.
Right.
But if you're looking someone in the eye and saying, I hear you, and even your tone like drops into that, you create that connection, then it creates the environment where we as humans in any type of communication, we really feel valued. Right? As if we truly see and truly hear one another and are able to create that environment where all voices are valued.
Right.
Now we can learn, right? Now we cultivate this foundational, whether you're at semester at C, whether you're at a small university, a big lecture hall, a traditional high school, a traditional middle school, elementary school, any type of online learning environment. And these, some of the strategies that were coming out when the pandemic happened, and educators were kind of fumbling and connecting with peers to go, wait, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? And, one of the best things that I know a lot of teachers were doing was saying hello to every student, even when they came into the virtual room, just as you discussed, you do in person. And it is that regardless of the medium in which you are connecting, it's that true authentic connection.
Absolutely. And my students are so cute. And then what they've started, and I've kind of followed along with them, is I stand at the door at the end and they each say goodbye. And we say goodbye. Thank you, Ms. Rashada. Thank you, Kelly. We had such a great day. Enjoy your break. And so it's kind of like a circle of community.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if those are the small things that I can do in the short time that I have them, then that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Amelia, when you think about the things that you as a student are working on through your perspective, we talk a lot about, all you can control is yourself and who you show up as. And you think about your evolution as a lifelong learner, even where you are today at your age, like what is something that you're still working on as a lifelong learner?
Yes.
I know you're going to be a journalist, so I'm just teeing you up that you're in the hot seat.
Something that I think I'll start here and then I'll transition into answering your question.
You're good.
But Something that I noticed was a little story time for you. Sophomore, junior year of high school, I had to take a math course online, just for kicks. No, that was like my only option. I was like, sure. And I did not do well on the online format and the whole pacing yourself mumbo jumbo, and like had to be responsible for yourself, turn it in when you can't. Like, that wasn't me. That was not me. And so when COVID hit, it was like, so we're going to fully immerse you in this loveliness. And finishing high school, like I only had a quarter left. So it was, we finished it to finish it. But going into college, and first semester I was hybrid, second semester I was completely online, and did a lot of work right here from this desk, actually. And so, and something clicked in my head. Don't know if it's like, the thing when you turn 18 that you're just like, can't be mature now. Like, I don't know what it was, but if it was finally my mother's voice in my head, just being like, dude, step up your game. Like, come on. Who knows? Who knows what mystical power possessed me? But like, suddenly Google Calendar became my best friend. Suddenly, like, I was on top of everything. Sorry, I was about to curse on here. And so it's fine. And like, it was just, I had time management skills, and it felt like it happened all of a sudden. Like, it suddenly felt like I was ready to take on this, and I got straight A's that semester. And it's like, I couldn't imagine like why I was so falling apart in high school. But it's also the difference that we can go into. This could go in a whole other conversation about like how high school is completely toxic and we need to change our school system, but it's totally fine. But it's like, I saw this change in myself, and I definitely think I'm still working on it. And there are definitely still ways that like I can be better, but even though as quirky or as, not unnecessary as people may look at it, like, my color-coded Google Calendar is fabulous, one, and two, it's what helps me constantly be able to learn what I'm supposed to and achieve the goals I'm supposed to. And I think that one is going to be an ever-going process of how I can constantly, manage my time and make sure that I'm squeezing in interests that interest me. But it's just something about, what you want to prioritize, mm-hmm. and what you want to be like, that's important to me. Spending time with those people are important to me. And the only way I found that was possible for the class load, especially that I took this past semester, I took 20 credits, like that it was possible for me to make sure that I FaceTime with the people I wanted to, like I had time for work, I had time for this, was, being a little, a type A personality of everything has to be a certain way. And so I think that's the other thing that brings me into is balancing how I can go with the flow, but also color-coded go with the flow.
Kind of a color code glow.
A color-coded glow, like flow. I don't know. So yeah, it's like, that TikTok sound. It's like, I'm totally go with the flow, but what time does the flow start? Like, yeah, no, that's totally like where I think after semester at CA, I'm definitely more chill in that area. But when it comes to school, I think there's a certain amount of rigidity that just has to happen to meet the goals that I want to meet. So it's that kind of ever evolving process. And I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question.
No, you did.
But yeah, so that one will always be there. The colors will keep changing based on my personality, but
based on your mood. It's like a
based
mood.
on my mood. Yeah.
I love it. Shiva, did you have a question you wanted to ask Amelia? I think we're going to run about 5 minutes long here, but
Yeah, I mean, First of all, Amelia is just amazing. I just love to see such strong, wonderful young people, this beautiful and amazing young woman just really speak her truth, right? Which I think as a teacher, that's what I want for all of my students, right? And I'm teaching seniors now, and they're getting ready to go out into the world. I don't know how articulate they're going to be, especially freshman year, but Amelia gives me hope for the future. No, I'm just teasing. Thank you. Well, so Amelia, so I know that I always say this to parents. You can tell a student that is well loved, right? And I can tell that about you. So can you just maybe tell us about some of the influences outside of school that really inform who you are as a student?
I got lots, man.
we need a notepad.
Probably. The list is longer than my arm, I'll tell you that much. I think, it starts with my parents. It starts with especially my mother. And being the constantly growing up, it was do your best. I'll be happy if you tried your best. But that's also she also birthed 3 kids that was oh yeah, do your best. I'm gonna get straight A's, watch me. It's that kind of mentality of no, you want to see what my best is? It's gonna be the best there is, total. And I think that it goes into my high school experiences of when I was struggling. I felt like I was disappointing her because I felt like I wasn't doing my best in a way. But I think she's the reason I made it through high school. And she's the reason I constantly got to do the things I love and got to do 10 million things. And she didn't let me work in high school because she wanted me to pursue all of these great things. And I think other people include the other woman on the Zoom call, my beautiful, lovely aunt, Miss Sandra Marie. And I say her name like that too. It's great.
Makes me sound fancy.
Just so fancy. I think my spring semester of college, when I lived out in California for that semester, and I would go visit her, and it was I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I would go and I visited her for 2 weeks at one point. I was a week in Vegas, and then we went to the cabin together, our family cabin together. And then it was a week during my finals. She was like, "You're coming home with me. You're doing finals. I'm sitting you at a table, and we're gonna get this done." It was that's how it's gonna be. But it's I loved that time that we were together, and especially in Vegas when you had your routine. And it's but I was able to be a part of it, and I was able to see the lifestyle that I wanted to create for myself. So it was I was going through this thing, but I also had this person in front of me being this could be you, because she acknowledges the fact that, I work hard and I do what I can. But it's also the fact that she's this example for me in the way that you are going to live this crazy, cool, funky life that I would love to share with you. And, we're on this weird journey together. And I think that also mostly started after that semester, that she was you want to come work for me? And I was sure, why not?
I like your brain.
I like your brain. Yeah, as 2 creators, we kind of, stuff happens. We start a lot of stuff.
She was like,
ideas are
let's land the plane.
Yeah. That's why we have Shiva, to be so we're up here and we need to be down here. It's just, it's good.
Shiva's accumulator brain goes, and let me pull the
it's a good seesaw motion. She's come on. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I think those 2 beautiful women in my life are great influences on who I am personally, not even just education wise, but also like they got me through college. And when I tell you I was so close to dropping out at the beginning of the semester, it was
It was
like
hours away.
the senior stress got to me, man. And yeah, I had a lot of family members being like, no, you're finishing your degree. Like, come on. Like, you're so close to the finish line. But I think it's just having that constant support from people and like having different people I could call, whether they pick up my calls or not. But like, I have people that I can call to ask for help and ask for support. And even when I was filling out my grad school application, like I had 5 people like checking my essays and reading over my sample work. And it's just that kind of support from all these different people in my family and friends, but like just having that strong inner circle of just people who want you to succeed and like want to see you live the best way that you can. Whether that's the version you have for yourself or not.
Sure.
But it's a great feeling to have, and I don't think I appreciated it until I really got into like my sophomore year of college. But to see how like big my inner circle really is, that goes like extends out far from my parents. But yeah, they're pretty rad, pretty rocking.
I love it.
See?
It makes sense. And you're such a beautiful reflection of all of the love of, your mom and your aunt and all of your family members. So I just love just to watch you talk about your experiences or listen, but we're on a Zoom thing. So anyway, but I love it. I love it. And then I just want to say really quickly, that's a note for educators to understand that not all of our students have that. So for those educators that just think I teach the standards, that is not just what you teach. If we really want to get the most out of our students, we have to inspire and we really have to care. And there's no professional development that's going to teach us how to do that. It really has to come from within.
Yeah.
If we want to make a difference.
Yeah. Shiva, thank you for saying that. It's so vital and truly is to have that mindful heart and heartful mind, right?
Absolutely.
And to know that they're connected and to be able to inspire and influence from that place is vital to our students. And Amelia, I'd love to kind of round out the conversation with you sharing what is your wish for the future of education? Like you are so close to it and in it and all of it. I mean, I'm talking pre-K through 100. What is your wish for the future of education?
Jeez, man, you like layer on these deep questions. Don't
I
give me
know.
time to
I know.
think.
This is totally going longer than 25 minutes, but I love talking to you. So I love hearing your wisdom. So
yes.
What's your wish?
My wish? Oh gosh. If I'm blowing out some birthday candles, and you're
Because
like,
that's how we wish.
but you have to be, in this top. No, I'm just kidding. That's a macked out of a question, man. I think it's also, I know that you ask other people this question, and I feel like it's easier for them because they're in it all the time. And I'm like in it, but I'm far removed from it in a way, from like the standard education system. But I'd like to think, but you did extend it. You said, kindergarten to 100. So it's a far range, but I think for educators to lead with compassion, empathy, grace. And it's the teachers in high school that I had, and it's some of the 100 level professors that I have. The farther up you get, the farther, they realize that you're, actually humans. But it's those kind of educators that didn't do that and didn't look at, like, they were just like, oh, this person's slacking off, like they must be just lazy, instead of looking behind the why. what is this person doing? What does their home life look like? Like, why did they skip 3 days in a row instead of just ridiculing them for it? It's things like that and I probably could have 1,000 more wishes on what education could look like, but it's just, it was the people who make the most impact are the people who genuinely see you for you. And it rounds out back to the whole connection bit. Like, it's just, you gotta relate to people on a human level, because I could meet a person who is, the complete opposite of me, as far as interest, views, like morals, whatever. But I still have something in common with them because they're still human and they're still a person. And I think that especially when educators are put in a position of not power necessarily, but influence, to have that impact on kids, younger people who their brain's not even developed. My brain's not even fully developed. So it's like, you have to think about what you're genuinely doing, because you see them 5 days a week, depending on, and for how long, depending on, how old they are. But it's kind of just, some people need to acknowledge the kind of role that they play in the development of people.
Yeah.
Because I think about it sometimes of like, I know that this is a very long answer, but I think about it sometimes that, like, you go into this work of like coaching educators and changing culture in schools. And it's like, and sometimes, like, when I first started working with you, I was like, why does she like limit herself to just this when she could like change the whole damn world? Like, but it's also at the same point of, this is where stuff starts. Every kid goes through or not every kid, but the ones who are lucky enough and privileged enough, and I hope to one day that every kid can go get an education, but they start out in schools. They have to come in contact with teachers, with educators, with administrators, with professors, and they have to, go through this process, and it molds who they are. Because it's like, yes, their parents are gonna, the whole nature versus nurture, whatever, their parents are gonna, mold who they are and shift their values and how they look at the world and, maybe what they're interested in. But the other part of the puzzle is educators who are with them every day. The other part is the people who are teaching them what 2 + 2 is and how to say the word cat. Like, it's, you genuinely have to look at the other people who are impressioning young people, and because that's what they grow up to think. And the older you get, the worse it becomes to turn a thing that you've already made an impression in your mind, or a decision you made about something, or a food you didn't like one day. Like, the older you get, it's harder to make that turn around. And yeah, so especially educators who are of younger children, like even in college, like it's you're still very impressionable about how you're going to go out into the real world and how you're going to make decisions, and what life you're going to lead, and if you're going to be ambitious and inspire for things, or aspire. But it's just like, that's my hope, that's my wish, is that people just see the human and the genuine impact that they could make if it's done right. But
I love that ownership of the impact, right? Own the impact that you have in this world, right? Because it is beautiful and it is brilliant. And thank you for that. I love hearing you and connecting with you, and bringing you on to the podcast is super special for me in so many ways. So thank you for being here. And Sheba, as always, thank you for being here. I would love to end with a fun question that I ask everyone is, because, you still get to be a kid now and again too, your favorite childhood toy, game, or adventure?
Well,
Now your video freezes. That's fantastic. Good way to get out of that. Your video froze and I didn't hear
did it?
you. Yeah, you're back now. So
Oh, hello. How are you?
it was like, nope, we don't get to know.
Oh, I just got a thing that says my internet connection is unstable. Oh no.
You're good now.
Anyway, there's definitely lots of things I did like playing with growing up. I think you gotta love a good American Girl doll. Went to the stores, dressed them up, matching outfits, whole bit. A good one between the three of us before my stepbrother came into our lovely little family. When it was just my sister and my brother, we played a game called Pretty Pretty Princess. And it was a little board game and it involved jewelry and my brother would wear the earrings and everything. It was lovely. He was such a team player. But it's little things like that I'm like, we love to see it.
That's awesome.
We love a brother who is not engaged in the art of toxic masculinity. He put on the earrings and he played the game.
Exactly. Shout out to LJ for being a very cool human. Very cool human. I adore you both so much. Thank you so much for this time. I'm not going to apologize for us running longer than I anticipated. This was brilliant and beautiful, and thank you for this conversation. As we kind of wrap up the end of this year and this season of the Conscious Educator Playground podcast, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season and love on those that are in your circle, whether that's 1 or 101 people. Love on them, share those micro moments of joy, truly see, hear, and value each other as the unique, amazing humans that we all are. I wish you a wonderful, joyous rest of your week, wherever you are in the world. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Bye, everyone.